guys, I am Media Hime and welcome officially to the channel. I talk about pretty much anything: movies, television shows, visual novels, otome games, light novels, whatever media I can think of to talk about. But right now, we are talking about movies because I have two movie reviews I need to get onto the channel. One of which is newer and I have not forgotten about, but right now we're talking about Sinners because I am starting to forget about this movie and I just want to get it off my chest before I completely forget about it. The plot of this movie is that two brothers named Smoke and Sack, I think they have real names in the movie, I don't remember. Honestly, I think those nicknames are not they're very stupid. And I think it's a metaphor, but I don't know. They have come back from Chicago and they have come back to the South and they have to adjust to the fact that everything's different now, because they were in a free state and they need to get used to being free gentlemen in a slave state. I don't dislike this concept. I think it's very interesting. But this is a vampire movie, and the vampires only show up halfway through. And the reason the vampires show up is because they're buying a juke joint, the twins. I think they're twins. And they invite a bunch of people to like cook the food and help with the music and do signage and stuff like that. And the vampires hear about this juke joint, and I guess they want to kill black people. I don't know. I don't know what these particular people, like the Irish vampire in charge, have against this juke joint. I don't know where they care. But they decide to attack this juke joint. And the middle of the movie gets kind of interesting as it becomes a life and death battle where they can't trust each other and they have to figure out what's going on. And one of the twins' exes, I think she's his ex. I don't know if they were actually married, but she has to tell them how to fight the vampires and stuff like that. It's a very typical movie, but it's a much more interesting movie. And then at the end, it just goes back to the white black people adjusting to slavery movie. Like it just goes back to that out of nowhere. And it's like, it feels like two movies sitting on top of each other. Or more specifically, it feels like they were writing a typical movie and then someone in the writer's room said, hey, you know what they need? They need vampires. And someone was like, no, that sounds really stupid. And the other person was like, no, it's not. Hear me out. And they just went with it. And it feels like vampires tacked onto a movie that wasn't meant for them. And the sad thing is, had they been introduced at the beginning of the movie, I think we might have had a much better movie, because they weren't given enough time to be anything other than your stereotypical generic vampires. And part of that was, for me, Abigail set such a high bar in vampire movies that anything below it is just like, oh, okay. Like, it's not terrible, but it's just not good either. Part of it was because there were a lot of plot threads that go unnoticed, as I said at the beginning of the review. I don't like calling them reviews, but that's basically what this is. There's the one twin's relationship with his ex, and the only thing that leads to is at the end of the movie, she is reunited with their child in heaven, and he kills a bunch of Confederates who mortally wound him, and they're reunited in heaven. That didn't really get a lot of time to be a thing. Well, the other twin had a relationship with a white girl, and honestly, I wish they had explored that angle. Like, maybe everybody was upset about it because they were an interracial couple, but no, it's just that he didn't wait for her, and she's mad that he didn't wait for her, and like, she could have used that to entice him to become a vampire because they could be internally, but that doesn't go anywhere. Their cousin, who's in the movie, who I haven't really talked about much, who is the most interesting part of the movie because of his relationship with his father, because his father thinks the music he plays is the devil, and he wants him to renounce the music, and that's just more interesting. He starts a relationship with the singer, and the singer has a husband at home, but something is wrong in their marriage because she doesn't want to talk about it. That never goes anywhere. I don't know why the lead vampire is Irish. I don't know what that has to do with anything. The juke joint they're buying is fronted by a Klansman. The only place that goes is they get killed. There's nothing else to it. I thought that Klansman was going to be a vampire, by the way. I literally thought he was going to be the final boss and they were going to have to kill him. But no, that never happened. So it's just a bunch of interconnecting stories that just don't go anywhere to me. Like, maybe I just don't get the symbolism. Maybe I just don't get what they're trying to say. It could also be that I'm neurodivergent, so it's just going over my head. But it wasn't that great to me. Also, the characters mostly feel one note. Like, the Asian lady knows how to make signs, and she has a daughter, and that's it. I liked the ex-wife. I liked Annie, but she basically was just there to spout lore and provide like herbal remedies. That's it. It felt very flat and one-dimensional to me, at least. There was Buddy Guy at the end of the movie, so that's interesting. I would like to see this as a television series, though, because if you made it into a television show, you can make take a 2-hour movie and stretch it into like a full 26 episode season, and that would be the perfect way to flesh out all these characters and make this more interesting. I don't know if they're going to do that. They might do a prequel about the twins in Chicago. I'd like to see that. But other than that, I just don't really like this movie this much. It wasn't bad. I should point it out. It was okay. It was just very disappointing.